Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all well. So, um, the pictures on the screen. We're on Hidden Rabbit 3's the channel. 10,600 subscribers on the subject of Tartaria and a lost civilization, possibly. Or was it another theory? Was this all buildings built by the giants back in the day? They're all sort of like the Romanesque, Corinthian columned buildings that we see, like the Roman buildings and all this architecture, old world architecture. So what you're looking at is New York train station that was destroyed in 1963. For what reason? No one will ever understand. Look at how fucking magnificent this building is. It's absolutely magnificent. So yeah, why you would tear this down? Okay, and all these. This is what's very suspicious. Absolutely very suspicious about this whole conspiracy. Really, it's what gives it some gravity. Like, you've got a building of this fucking caliber, of this grandeur, that God knows took how long to build, that literally would last the sands of time, like all these buildings do. So you don't need to knock it down because it literally will be there for all of our lifetimes, and God knows how many lifetimes. You've got no justification or reason to knock it down, and yet they did in 1963. For what you know what I mean? Like, it defies logic. Like, the amount of money this building must have cost to originally build. There's nothing wrong with it structurally, because look at what it's built of. It's the old style, absolutely built forever, made of fucking granite and marble. And I mean, look at this. Look at this. This is just the entranceway, but also look, take note at how big the actual fucking doorways are as well. The doorways have been put in at this level, but the actual doorway in itself is what, a good 20 feet high, the doorway. So this is again like the main atrium to a train station. I mean, can you believe really that they would build something like this as a train station? Like, that's the other side of it. Why would you build a train station of this grandeur with a lobby of this height, like a cathedral, with all this architecture and pillars, and then knock it down? Like, why would you knock this down? If you went to the trouble to build this building, why would you knock it down? It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. Like, the time frames, I believe this is a picture of them knocking it down, like literally taking it apart piece by piece and building a more modern metal structured train station. I think they've maybe kept a little bit of it. I would have to look at the modern day New York train station, but I believe this is them taking it apart, and they build a metal replacement in half of where it was. I don't know if they keep the sort of the front fascia here of the pillars, but yeah, they take it apart and build like a metal structure instead of this absolutely grand building by the looks of things. So don't get me wrong, there is still, I think this. I'm not quite sure. I think this is still the structure, a bit like the back part where the train station is. You know, all the train lines come in. So it's just very hard for me to believe that they built this in sort of the 1800s, and they knocked it down 100 years later. Like, it's very hard to believe. Like, I mean, here's another picture of another lobby. Look at these windows. Look how tall this building is. It's unbelievable with this clock. And yeah, it's absolutely magnificent, to be honest. Absolutely magnificent. So it's when I just see things like this again. Here's another picture of this sort of hallway, another one of the hallways with the big windows. Yeah, it's just one of these things that I see, and I think this whole like Tartaria crack has got a bit of backing, but whether well, Tartaria has got a bit of backing as well because it's on maps before the 1800s, which is another reason. And then you've got the Great Wall of China that doesn't really protect from the outside China. It kind of protects you from China. So there's a lot of there actually got quite a bit of backing for this whole Tartaria thing, to be honest. But as well, there's the whole giant crack, and the giants were building structures like this. Do you know what I mean? Carving shit into stone like it was butter. So this is a building here, and it's how big it was and what it looked like, and before they started fucking renovating it and taking it down. And again, look at the size of this building; it's absolutely fucking magnificent. This is a train station, so it's just very suspicious to me. That's what it is. It's very suspicious that you've built a building of this size, and again, all the buildings we've got in modern day in London, you've got all the buildings in London and all these big fancy fucking made of absolute massive stones. The bank, they're like the Bank of England or the palaces or all these buildings. Basically, you see them that are built for the test of time. They won't fall to bits like our modern houses do. They're literally made of like granite and all sorts. And why would you go to the trouble? And like that's the other side of it. All these other buildings that we have built in this kind of style and caliber, like the Bank of England or the Federal Reserve or all these state capitals in America, they don't knock them down really. You know what I mean? Like because look at how beautiful they are, and look at how much works went into actually building them in the first place. So it's very suspicious. I feel that they've knocked this down. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just very suspicious. Why would you go to the trouble of building such a beautiful, elaborate building to then go and knock it down? It's just I can't. Again, the Forgotten Palace of New York, they destroyed in 1963, is the name of the video. Again, he's actually talking on
What was
the.
truly there, and why it seems so alien to the present day of
His voices, though, is a bit like. "Woo." It can be a bit annoying at times, although it's sometimes quite good to go to sleep to. So that's why I didn't play the voice. So it's. I was just playing the pictures, really, because it's all in the pictures. It's all in the pictures. So yeah, this was a train station. I mean, that bit you could say looks a bit like a more modern. Well, I say modern, but where all these train stations are acquired. So I believe this is them dismantling it. Something's happened. I'm not quite sure. So I don't really know the full background of the. Here's an advert. Um, I haven't watched the full video, but I just seen all these pictures and I was thinking, honest to God, like to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense really that they've built this building that is absolutely fucking amazing and beautiful, and then they knocked it down, and the whole knocking it down kind of makes you think that they're trying to cover something up because there's more instances of them knocking these absolutely beautiful buildings down, but many of them they haven't, and we've still got them today. And as I've mentioned before, like the Bank of England and buildings like this. So I'm not sure if this is them having took it down completely now and now making it into the train station that we see today with possibly the metal that we were seeing there. So I think we're maybe seeing multiple photos here, unless see, look at this building in the background as well with its massive sort of pillars and how it's built, and then look at all the other architecture. Like it's just there's nothing similar in any way. You've got like Roman architecture and then just like normal architecture of the modern times. So it's very suspicious. So I don't know if again that's the train station of the modern days that they've put in its place. Um, that could be the plans for a more modern train station. I mean, you'd have to listen to the video and the guy. This could be them dismantling the whole thing, or I don't know. There's photos of everything though. To be honest, now this could be like them knocking it down. Look at all the rubble and the stone. I don't know, but the fact of the matter is, they did build it and knock it down in 1963. So this could be all the new building being erected, maybe in metal or maybe knocked down. I don't know. I don't know. Well, that's what it looked like anyway. That's what it looked like originally again, with all these pillars and fucking all this, even this top bit again, this massive high ceiling. Um, yeah, that's what it looked like originally, and they knocked it down in 1963. For what reason, I would never be able to tell you. Look, I mean, literally, look at this place. Absolutely unbelievable. I mean, how they built it in the 1800s as well is another question. How they built this in the 1800s in apparently no time at all, as everything in America is built in like 2 years. It's very suspicious, honestly. It gives you more. It gives this whole Tartaria thing, whether it's Tartarian again, I don't know, but it gives back into the fact of we didn't build this, we found this, and they knocked it down because explaining this in modern times, yeah, we knocked this up in 2 years. What? Because that's the claim of half of these buildings. They knocked them up in 2 years, and it's unbelievable with the machinery and the technology of the time. Again, of the time. I mean, even in today, look at that. What even in modern times, how long would it really take to build something of that beauty? Look how high the ceilings are. Look how much architecture and like stone is involved here, and how big some of the slabs are, and the archways and everything. The windows, the roof, it's all carved and everything. I mean, you're talking decades, I would imagine, to like in a decade to maybe pull this off. Again, you've got to source all the materials, mine the materials, carve all the materials, all these pillars, all the same, all perfect. You know what I mean? And again, why would you knock this building down in 1963? Look at it; it's not gonna fall down. Look what it's made of. All these buildings were literally built forever, literally forever. All these Bank of England and the palace, like the royal palaces in London, and all the old sort of architecture. It's all still there from hundreds of years. So it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It gives some credence to we're knocking shit down to cover stuff up. Because why the fuck would you knock this down? So that's apparently the New York, the Forgotten Palace of New York. They destroyed in 1963, which was a train station. So it was like probably repurposed as a train station. But then the big wigs had the idea that, hold on a minute, people are going to start asking questions about this fucking train station eventually. And here we are. And here we are. And again, I'm asking questions. So first one is, why would you build a train station of such size and elaborate pillars and everything? Why for a train station? And if you did go to that trouble, then why the fuck would you knock it down? You know what I mean? So again, it's like again, it's a crime really that they knocked this down. Look how beautiful it is, and unbelievable, unbelievable. But again, if you were born, I was born in 1980, so I have no fucking clue about any of this. So, but apparently that's the New York Palace. Used to be a train station. Knocked it down in 1963. For what reason? I'd love to know. But it'll be a lie, the reason, because it can't be anything to do with like the building was going to fall down. Because again, these buildings don't fall down. They're made of like fucking absolute. Look at it. It's not made of fucking cardboard. So I just thought I'd give it a mention. The Forgotten Palace of New York. Hidden Rabbit 3, the channel. I'll leave it there. Peace.